Afghanistan. The portrayal of Afghanistan as a continued live-wire conflict is occurring in various media outlets, with the assertion that China must now deal with the risks of a more radical government. As was covered last month, China has had mining operations in the country for years, and is now seen to be expanding its involvement, offering aid and encouraging broader regional cooperation. Some additional concerns exist regarding the Taliban's terrorist connections, namely the East Turkestan Islamic movement, which China has blamed for prior attacks in the Uyghur province of Xinjiang. Xinjiang is already known for the extensive allegations levied against the Chinese government there, ranging from forced labor to outright genocidal-level sterilization. Coverage from the Gray Zone would indicate that the media carousal on the topic is comprehensively US-centric in origin, and credible answers are not forthcoming. The prior UN face-off over the issue has been presented in terms of East versus West, or allies admirers of China versus those that oppose authoritarianism. But the salient fact is the countries that support China are components of their Belt and Road Initiative. A noticeable member on this map, Afghanistan, joined in 2013. Simply put, the Chinese will gain influence in the region because they'll be invited in. And simply put, the UN clash is more symbolic of a new geo-economic proxy war of pro-Belt and Road and anti-Belt and Road countries. Ethiopia. Previously covered was the deteriorating Tigray conflict, in which an ethnic war between the TPLF and Ethiopian government forces has destabilized millions. While prior attempts at peace fell through, there is now a renewed sense of urgency being presented in responding to the conflict. However, the United States' intentions in the region are not taken to be humanitarian. As a supplier and co-opter of TPLF rule for over 20 years, the accusation exists that the U.S. is not interested in seeing a former strategic party, no matter their record, be completely eliminated from helping to determine policy in the area. A prior letter from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Eritrea asserted that the Biden administration has an interest in the continuity of the destabilized situation in the region. Similar to Afghanistan, most Horn of Africa and Red Sea bordering countries have also signed on to the Belt and Road Initiative, with several having active projects. China. The real estate developer Evergrande generated panic over speculation they wouldn't be able to pay their creditors, and more so that the Chinese government would let them fail. This, among other factors, led to market indexes declining several percentage points in the span of a week. Presented as a black swan event, the extent of Evergrande's assets and potential impact have become rather overstated. It appears likely that the company will be restructured. The black swan event dialogue appeared to be part of a coordinated effort to scare markets. An announcement on Federal Reserve policy on the 23rd, and political theater surrounding budget proposals and a possible government shutdown proved to be useful catalysts for market turmoil. Oil, which saw prices decline over the same period over demand fears tied to Evergrande's story, amusingly saw prices then rebound to an even greater extent, this move being fueled by sudden supply concerns in the U.S. While the stories at face value paint the picture of an economic calamity that was thankfully averted, the timing of the news releases is rather suspect. Pair this with China's crackdown on cryptocurrencies, driving prices down in a sector in which it has been the #1 Bitcoin miner, refuels the same suspicions. The United States. For the United States, the specter of a government shutdown was looming large before a last-minute deal, but like other events that are depicted as black swans, the coverage of this was fear-inducing before switching to relief that then helped markets. The same will likely be done with the upcoming debt ceiling debacle. I'm not predicting a perfect resolution, and market turmoil around the deadline will likely increase, but the point of black swans is that they truly happen without notice, and in most cases whatever mainstream news declares a black swan won't be one. One need only look at 2020. A health crisis may have started the downturn, but a sudden, over-the-weekend and less than highlighted oil price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia on March 8th sealed the market's fate. Taiwan. Briefly following up on Taiwan, coverage of the Kuomintang's new leader pledging to renew talks with Beijing speaks to an internal divide in Taiwan, but the details are a lesson in semantics. The KMT party is accused of being too conciliatory to Beijing by signing Wen's DP party, and has been soundly defeated in numerous elections over the last several years as a result. Neither party wants war, but since the DPP under Tsai has been more willing to concretely say that Taiwan is independent, whereas the KMT just wants to avoid making a concrete statement at all, I would look for Beijing to attempt to make political inroads via the KMT's rhetoric.